everyone, Erin here, your hostess with the mostest, and welcome back to Becoming Me, the weekly vlog show where I talk about my week, I guess. And speaking of this week, let's go ahead and see what's on the agenda. There we go. Alright. So, to start off with, last week I was talking about how I had shy breasts and they were buds, maybe they weren't buds. Now I'm sure that they're buds. I don't know if they're breasts yet. So I guess we'll see when I measure myself again and do the whole twirly thing in the next month or whatever. And besides like HRT, other things too I'm gonna talk about here because like I've been so tired lately and life is just like, bitch, you thought. And yeah, now I'm really tired. So there's that as well. One of the things that I thought was funny when I was talking to my wife is she was like, you know, you always said that like you identified with Pinkie Pie from My Little Pony, and I never understood it, but now I do. And I thought that was really funny, and it made a lot of sense too, because yeah, like I've always liked Pinkie Pie. I always felt like her, even before I started transitioning, which, considering how robotic I was, that makes almost no sense. It was just the inside, you know, trying to get out kind of thing. Speaking of being busy and tired, I may have mentioned this, but I don't know because I wrote down notes. I write notes everywhere. In fact, this note is a note about notes. There you go. I write them on my phone sometimes, and I have like this growing backlog of just, oh, do this, oh, this idea, oh, respond with this, and things like that. There's like a couple of funny edits from videos that were weeks ago for my friends, and I can't get used to it. I can't get to it, I mean, and it's really upsetting. And then another thing, I normally don't upset my friends, and I think it's because like I'm always trying to be helpful, and usually people are really receptive and really happy about that. But like here lately on one of my Discord servers, someone who kind of reached out to me, and I felt like we had become pretty good friends for a while, and I think I really upset her, and I was just trying to help, and then it happened again, but this time it was more so I wasn't reading the room, and I didn't know what was going on, and like the discussion was kind of about like fetishes and stuff, and one of like a newer person to that Discord was saying that they have a fetish for cutting and like drawing blood, and I'm pretty squeamish. I'm like almost a bit of a hemophiliac, or hemophilia. Philiac is where you love it, I think. I don't know. And like it was kind of disturbing to hear that. So then like I shared the ones that I used to have, and then like people were like, whoa, you should have warned us, like put the spoilers and stuff. And I was just so upset that like I upset people, and it's like, why did I even say that? Because I don't have those fetishes anymore. Like it made no sense to even bring it up. But it reminded me of like when I would disappoint friends. I like cower. I like run away if people are upset with me. And I don't fully understand that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess you try to convince people to like you, or you try to like apologize or something. Like, you're worried that they won't like accept you afterwards. So I just run, I guess. I really don't know where I was going with that stuff. And then lastly, and this has happened like the past 2 days or something, I have been having really unusual like stomach aches and things. And I don't know if I'm just working so much that I'm making myself sick, or it's all the frappuccinos that I've been drinking, because there's something about them. Like, the smoothness, I feel like really helps my throat and my voice. Even though it might not sound very good right now, it does help. I think it's just because I'm talking so much. It also could be my first like cycle of menstrual cramps, because I don't know, I mean, I'm pretty sure I said this in like probably my first vlog, but that was so long ago. I don't think anyone like even remembers that. But yes, trans women do also get periods. Basically everything but the bleeding. Because like the muscles around the uterus are what like push and force and make that crampiness to push that stuff out. Whoa, I guess I should have put content warning. Whoopsie. There we go again. Anyway. Alright, I guess that's it kind of for like this week in HRT. Oh, actually, no, there's a couple more things. Like, people were talking about being really dysphoric and upset about their bone structure. And it's something that I think I just tried to like block out of my mind, because I have no way to do anything like that. But that's part of why like people feel it's so important to get blockers and things like that when you're initially going through puberty. Because once you go through puberty, your bones grow in a certain way, and they may not be the way that you would like. And when you're as old as me, like, you're pretty much stuck with that. If you affirm trans kids and they're able to grow as they're intended, as they want to, as they need to, then they have bone structures that are more close to the gender that they are. That's how biology works, I guess. Hearing people being upset about that, like, it made me really upset about it. I had mentioned, I think, a couple weeks ago that there's like these amazing glow-ups of people that have been going through transition. I know my friend Ray was like, this person in college was really, really pretty. And, well, they have at least a decade up on someone like me, if not more. Because I'm pretty sure I'm like a decade older than Ray is now. And when you're doing it like that soon, and while your body is still really growing, it's much better. And I guess before I go on to the next topic, because like I'm tired and I have to go to work for like 14 hours today. I put on my makeup again. I failed the other week when I was recording my crying hour. Today I tried it again, and this time, instead of trying to do like 3 or 4 different colors for my eyeshadow, I tried just one and I didn't like it. So then I tried 2, and it seemed better. But I bet looking at me, like, no one can even tell that I'm wearing makeup. When in fact, I am wearing color corrector, foundation, eyeshadow, I put on mascara, and lipstick. And the only thing that really seems to pop, I guess, when I look in the mirror is lipstick. So I think it's also because I have like hooded eyes. Like, eyeshadow is just not really going to be very noticeable. I think that I should focus on lipstick and like accentuating my cheeks around that or something. And then it might look a little better? I don't know. And, oh, I guess one more thing. Going back to the old boobies. Transphobes and like TERFs were saying that, you know, it's no point in taking HRT for breasts because after a year you'll have like an A cup at most. And well, yeah, that's true, but they don't stop growing after that point. And another person was making that point, like, I don't know, my friends and just people watching out there that were assigned female at birth, like, when you first hit puberty and first like started getting boobs, did they stop growing after the first year, or did they keep growing for a while? Are they still growing? Because like, I kind of think that's an ongoing thing. I didn't have a lot of time to look for like, or just didn't find like anything that really jumped out on like Twitter about awful or awesome people this week. And I guess that's good. There's not as much awfulness, but in truth, there was plenty of awfulness. I'm changing this to like awful things. I might have said that last week. I don't remember, but because like, I don't know. It seems more like sometimes it's just mentalities or events and not necessarily people. But what I do want to talk about, and I missed my first Pride because I was really nervous and everything. And I think actually I missed it because I was working. So there's that. Pride's kind of been a party for the LGBTQ plus community for quite a few years, but it started as a riot. And there's been problems that I've noticed, like with last year. I don't know if they're like this the year before that. Like, I was just blind to LGBTQ plus things or the community or their struggles, and now I'm learning everything. But there was like a parade of these TERFs that were excluding trans people, obviously, because that's like what they do. And they were leading a pride parade in the UK somewhere. I don't remember where. And it was a real problem. And now, in Manchester, this pride event is hosting Ariana Grande. Like, then charging, I think, like $100 or something for it. So now, to participate, like, you have to pay quite a lot of money just to go. And the thing is Pride is supposed to be for the LGBTQ plus community and their allies. Like, people that want to be there, that are showing pride. Ariana Grande might be a ally because I guess like her brother is gay, but it's causing a lot of people who are not allies at all, who actually are homophobic and transphobic, to want to come to an event that's supposed to celebrate homosexuality bisexuality, other sexualities, and transgender people. And it's this idea of like commercializing it. In a way, it's kind of like eroding or reducing the effects of it by just making it another thing for advertisers, for this, for that, and basically exploiting the people that are supposed to be like going there to enjoy themselves and celebrate. And I actually made a tweet about it. I was like, well, you know, Pride started with a riot, and it might almost be just about time to go back to the riot. But I guess time will tell. I really hope that, you know, nothing really bad happens with that. And homophobic, transphobic, bigot people aren't flooding Pride, because that's really awful. It's not quite as bad, but I would compare it to something like going back to last week about like internalized transphobia. I saw this and I wanted to bring it up because it's really, really like this is what transphobia does to people. And I'll try to like show this post, but it's from 4chan. And I originally found it through the Estradiol Warrior on Twitter, because I guess they were browsing 4chan or something, and they said there's a group of trans women whose egg were broken by threads on 4chan, and they do not grow up to be the most well-adjusted people. And what that means, there's like a term that is within the trans community, and it's kind of controversial because like a lot of people don't like it, and I understand why they don't like it. So basically, I don't use it, and but if my friends will say it, then I'll support them, and if my friends don't like it, I'll support them too, because I think that everyone has a right for it. Anyway, so what it is like basically you're an egg and then you hatch, and that's like your moment of realizing that you're trans. So people talk about like before they start transition as eggs, and then when they start transitioning as like hatching and stuff. And this is also what's problematic about like how deep internalized transphobia and like the trap culture that I mentioned in one of my crying hours is for like people. Here's a post by someone. They said, it's titled, "How do I quit HRT addiction?" And they said, "I'm a repressor who convinced himself to cycle HRT on and off every 3 months to prevent further masculinization. I've been on it for 3.5 months, and I like the physical and mental effects. How do I break the addiction? I don't want to quit, but have to." They don't understand, or they see it as being such a horrible thing that they are purposely choosing to avoid doing something that makes them feel good. And it's not like harmful at all. Not like doing any kind of drugs or whatever, even though it is a drug. You know what I mean. And then someone responded, "Cycling like that will prevent it if I remember correctly. After lacking T, testosterone, so long when you stop taking the," I don't know what AA is, "and E, estrogen, your body unregulates loads of testosterone." God, I hope that's true, because I really don't feel like there's much going on right now, and it's very upsetting. I also forgot to mention in this week on HRT, the first part, that Thursday I'm going back to my doctor, and I'm hoping that I will get my dosage doubled, because then that will help. Yes, thank you. So I had a pretty terrible morning, I think, on Wednesday, and it just kind of set the tone for the rest of the week at that point. I was just working. It was terrible. I mentioned it on Twitter and on my Discords. Like, I was just kind of bleeding out everywhere. But, like, I tried to do my makeup, and it looked awful, and I had to wipe it all off, and yes, like, this is good for me. So, shut up. And then I tried re-recording my crying hour for several hours. Like, I recorded and I got through like 45 minutes, and I was like, this sounds so much worse. I'm forgetting, like, I'm saying things poorly. I hate it. And like, that's what the crying hour is at this point. Like, I can't re-record it. Maybe I can make like addendums or something, but like, it changes because it's in that moment, because I have this way of talking where I'm talking but I have no idea what I'm saying, so the next second I might be like, what was I talking about? And it's not really a good thing, but that's just who I am, so whatever. And maybe it has some things to do with that particular crying hour. And I don't know if this vlog will be up before that crying hour or not. I need time to edit things. But anyway, then later that day, me and my wife went to this salt float place. And there was this guy that's really nice that she likes there. And he knows that I'm trans. And he's really friendly. And she invited me to like talk to him, and it was really kind of strange. I've never talked to somebody who is so kind of outside of what everything is, and I had to really think about like the terminology and the analogies and just things that I was using like that in general. It was honestly pretty nice. Like, he was a really nice guy, and he seemed really open and understanding about things. And one thing that he said that really resonated with me that I want to share now is like, how you talk to people, especially kids, is important. And like, when you define something, in this case it could be gender, as being something and not just being called something by others, then you put a ceiling on that child's like creativity, on their mind, that they have to now overcome themselves to break out of, or they never do break out of it. And the example he used was something really simple, like telling a child that this is a rose versus we call this a rose. Basically, in the latter, we call this a rose. And it can be a rose to you, but it can also be much more than that. It can have a much deeper, more like profound meaning. That kind of talking really helps like encourage creative thought in a child, and people should really like do that more, because when you define things as being something and it's like a finality to it, then they have to fight against that idea in order to discover whatever they want to about it, which I feel is still also a part of like internalized transphobia. because it's like these are the gender roles. These are the gender rules. And this is why people, like, not even trans people, but like homosexual people are like in pain growing up because they like feel like they can't be themselves, and like in their mind what they actually are and what goes against what they've been shown, what they've been taught. And people like to make this argument like that if you have gay this or gay that, like all of a sudden kids are just gonna be jumping on the bandwagon of being gay. But like heterosexuality is really kind of everywhere. It's super accepted everywhere, and sometimes to like a disgusting degree of how much like, I guess, public affection and things like that is just okay. And people are still gay. Like, if having gay representation and trans representation going to suddenly turn people into homosexuals and transgender people, even though they weren't, like, that doesn't make sense. What it does is, for those people that are homosexual, that are transgender or non-binary, is it allows them to realize that what they are and how they feel is not a problem, is not a mistake, and things like that. I mentioned, I think before, I think it's in the crying hour actually, I had this dream where I was under like a glass ceiling and pounding and trying to, like, no one could hear me though. And like, it's that thing, we define things within the world, and they don't need to be defined like the way that we do it. Because then, and well, probably one of the reasons why people do that is just to keep the status quo, to keep people not thinking for themselves, but just part of the societal machine or whatever. And that's really upsetting, and I hate it. For a while, I just stopped singing because it was really wrecking my voice. And I don't know what started it, but while I was driving, I sang, and I sang in my more like masculine resonance, and then flipped to feminine. And it seems to help, I guess. It's hard to tell, but I've been doing it more and more, and for the most part, I think it's been strengthening my vocal cords. They really don't feel that way right now, but yeah, that's just because I got up like a little bit ago. Also, I hate how fucking goddamn bright everything is with this. But that being said, when this goes up, I'm going to, what's it called? Make like a community post on my channel, because even though I haven't done the design prompts or the challenges or even the friggin' nostalgia dips, I have yet another idea that I want to do. And part of it is because like I haven't really listened to a lot of music, so I don't think about it or identify it a lot. But basically, I want to do like a silly karaoke thing, and well, just drop your suggestions of songs that you would like me to sing for it, and hopefully I'll get enough that I can start doing it like every week or something. And it will just be like a little fun thing with my voice. I prefer like male vocalists that are deeper in their tone with no rapping. But I won't be opposed to female vocalists. It's just that usually they're a little too high pitched that I have to do it in falsetto. And when I'm doing this like bouncing back and forth in the car, I'm not using my falsetto voice. And I think that's helping a bit. When I do use my falsetto, I notice that when I try to switch back, it kind of messes up. It kind of takes a little bit to adjust because, like, when I'm talking like this, most of my muscles are in the position where they would be with like using falsetto anyway. But when they actually are in falsetto, they're shifted a little bit. So then when I try to do it again, my body wants to go to falsetto, but I don't want it to. So then it pushes it like down, and then it doesn't quite sound right. I really need to stop talking because my poor voice is just shot already, and the day has just started. Oh, but I mean, I guess that's how it goes. So anyway, thank you. If you stayed till the end, you're a real sweetheart. And take care, everybody.